Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton and I serve as Decatur's city manager. Every week we give you a little bit more information about what's going on with your city government. One of the things that's going on in Decatur city government and is going on in many city governments throughout the United States is that police departments are struggling to fill the ranks for qualified patrol officers. We're no different. The city of Decatur's police department, however, is different in some key ways. Long before the George Floyd incidents up in Minneapolis, this department here in Decatur was professionalizing, making changes to its procedures, to its arrest protocols, to the whole way that it does business and provides security services to our citizens in ways that are modern. And when the Illinois General Assembly and the governor passed a new so-called police reform bill back in 2021, we had to make exactly 0 changes to our procedures and protocols because we had already made many of these reforms. We are fortunate here in Decatur to have a police department that is professional and effective, and the mayor and city council continue to be very supportive of our police department. The reason that I mention that is that despite these things, because of the national debate and discussion about the role of police, the number of police recruits we have interested in becoming a part of the police department has been so low that by the time that they pass the background check and other screenings, we don't have enough applicants to fill the positions that we have. We're more than a dozen officers down. So I'd like to take this opportunity to implore you to consider being in the Decatur Police Department, or perhaps mentioning this to someone that you might know who might be qualified for the position. Maybe you've seen some of our billboards around town suggesting that you be a part of that. Being a police officer for the city of Decatur now it includes a $5,000 signing bonus. It includes some really good benefits and salary. It also, recently here, includes working 12-hour shifts. What that means is that you actually have more time off. Departments that have 12-hour shifts, and there's an increasing number of them throughout North America, do so because it's more efficient use of manpower, which means we can have more men on the streets. But it's a real benefit for the police officer too, because he or she has more time with their family away. They work the same number of hours, but they end up in a year, but they work fewer days. And that's increasingly something that's really interesting and popular, especially to the younger folks who might be interested in these positions. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't say that one of the other benefits of being a member of the Decatur Police Department is that you can make a difference. So if that sounds appealing to you, we encourage you to contact our Human Resources Department. At its last meeting, the City Council took decisive action on a new lease involving Marina Services down at Lake Decatur, specifically Basin 2, the area near the Devon and the boat patrol office and the beach house restaurant, that whole area, that side of the lake between US 36 and Lost Bridge Road. Maybe if you've been down there regularly, you've seen that the contractor that we partnered with has already built most of 40 new dock slip areas that'll be positioned near the breakwater that is southwest of the Lake Patrol building. And the expectation, and this is the agreement that the mayor and city council worked out moving forward, is that as those fill up, he will build additional ones, and as we sort of march down the lake shore to the northeast, closer to the Lake Patrol building, there has been pent-up demand for boat slips and dock areas among the general public who likes to have access to the lake, and we've seen that through our association and our cooperation with the Decatur Park District, that there's even more interest in the dock and slip rental than this current phase of dock construction will support. So we're actually very pleased about that. And the agreement the mayor and council executed allows for us to then have G&H Marine, who is our private vendor, to build more of them as additional need is required. Why this is important is that if there's critical mass of docks and people needing those services, it's better able to support the activities of a private marina operator who operates under a franchise with the city and with the Decatur Park District. Right now, there's nobody renting boats or having a convenience store or providing gas services that are a little bit easier to get to than the ones that the city provides right now, and other services that people who want to use Lake Decatur for recreation would have access to. If there is a full-service marina there, it means that people who aren't boat owners would have more access to the lake as well, be able to enjoy the lake. And that's one of the objectives of the mayor and city council, is to make better use of the lakefront, get more efficient use of the lakefront in such a way that we can have higher density of boats in there, have more of them in there, and that'll help support a marina operator who will be able to provide services even to those who aren't necessarily owners of boats who have them parked at the lake for the entire season. So this is a real, I think, better use of this great resource that we call Lake Decatur. Everybody's been experiencing inflation. That's undeniable. We see it at the gas pump, we see it at the grocery store, and in many aspects of our lives. It is a function of the federal government's monetary and energy policies. And here in Midwestern cities, the inflation rate, according to the U.S. Department of Labor's Bureau of Labor Statistics that tracks it separately for Midwestern cities just like Decatur, that annualized inflation rate is now pretty close to 8%. Now that's a problem because it increases the cost for everybody, but also increases the cost for the city. In fact, our costs of buying new vehicles or buying water treatment chemicals and the other things that are sort of unique to municipal government, those inflation numbers actually are higher than the 8% that the average customer, average citizen of Decatur endures. So the mayor and city council are trying to be very deliberative about this. How do we provide some financial relief to citizens who are experiencing a great deal of stress on their household budgets, but also make sure that we have sufficient funds to deal with inflationary effects on the budget that services what activities we provide to citizens? How do we balance that? The city council hasn't made a final decision about that. At its next meeting in April, they'll probably give some consideration to maybe making some small adjustments in certain rates, but not as much as that inflationary rate. The city council and the city government have taken some other steps to try to make sure that we are doing everything we can in a very difficult environment to help you, the citizens of Decatur, manage some of your costs. One of these, and there's been some publicity on this, but it's worth drawing attention to it again, that we have a partnership with a company called Arcadia Solar. Now, this is different than the municipal aggregation program that the city of Decatur has had in the past. In the past, if it was automatic that the municipal aggregation, which allowed the city to give you a lower rate than what Ameren was providing, and it was just on your Ameren bill, because Ameren still gets paid to be the purveyor of the power because they own the distribution system, what we call the last mile of that utility, and they'll continue to do that because they're in that business and they do a good job of it. But Ameren has gotten out of the power business, and there's a separate company that actually produces the power. And now, because Illinois is a partially deregulated state, large businesses like our major employers have already done this, is that they buy their power from somebody else and then wheel it to their location. So they're paying one fee for their power to one vendor and one fee for the cost of the distribution system to Ameren, but it's all on one bill. Under the Arcadia arrangement, you have to opt into that program rather than just if you don't do anything, then you're automatically in the program, which was the old municipal aggregation arrangement. But if you do elect to go into the Arcadia Solar program, you get 10% off whatever your Ameren bill is, and Ameren's bills are increasing significantly. They're up over 20%. We've all seen this in our Ameren bills. But on the electric side only, they'll take 10% off, plus give you a $100 rebate as well during the first 4 months of service. But you have to opt in. And the other major change, if you choose to do that, and it's totally your decision, is that then your bill comes from Arcadia Solar rather than the bill coming from Ameren. So there's the city's done some press information about this. Arcadia Solar and the city are sending out some additional information. If you have questions about it, you can feel free to give us a call. In addition to these programs and actions by the city council to try to keep your utilities, electric, water, sewer, more manageable in these difficult times, some of the other programs that we have partnered with, for example, Dove here in Decatur, to target people who are particularly hard hit by the effects of COVID and by the other economic dislocations that have followed past that, even though the COVID pandemic seems to be coming to an end for at least for a while until the next strain comes along, the economic effects are still there. And so we still have rent and utility assistance programs for some of the hardest hit who can demonstrate that they are. You can contact Dove and some of the other social service agencies. Those programs remain in place because they reflect the fact that the mayor and city council are trying to do everything they can to help citizens at this critical time. I look forward to giving you more information in future weeks, and thanks for tuning into this video.